My name is Joy Koff, and welcome to these webinars that I put together, and they are called Messages of Joy. My name is Joy Koff, and I am the owner and facilitator of Miracles of Joy. And today, for a special guest, we have a special guest for you that I will be interviewing, and he's been working out of Miracles of Joy for the past 11, 12 years, Neil. It's Neil Marshall, and you can find him as Marshall Neil on Facebook. So I know what you do, Neil, but you label it as multidimensional healing. So tell us a little bit about how did you get started in multidimensional healing?
Well, basically, I'm an intuitive and an empath. Obviously, my whole life, I just didn't really realize that. So maybe about 20 years ago, I began to experience a series of synchronicities and coincidences that began to challenge me past my normal thought processes on the paranormal, on religion, on all of that. So basically, it was like a calling that I resisted. Absolutely, I resisted because it was shocking, it was paranormal, and it followed a certain series of stages, as it were. It required me letting go of a lot of preconceived notions about what I thought was real and what is not real. I've been assisting people with their processes, which this process obviously is called a spiritual awakening. Probably 30 to 40 people a month for 10 years. And what I've discovered in that is that it makes sense. It follows a pattern, it follows a protocol, and about 80% of a spiritual awakening type process is repeatable and is repeated amongst the population. It's just getting that group together to understand and share those experiences.
Okay, so multidimensional healing. So let's talk a little bit about that. What is it that you actually do? Is it psychic medium? Is it channeling? Is it healing? Is it Reiki? Or is it all the above?
I categorize myself as a channel. And within that definition of being a channel, mediumship, as in communicating with loved ones and people that have passed over, psychic mediumship falls under that. A healer also falls under, for me, what I call is ultimately a channel, which a channel is a physical or a biological portal that allows connections to other dimensions and other aspects of reality.
So how long have you been doing this professionally?
About 10 years, realistically about 10 years, to where I actually accept an exchange of money for my work. You're not paying for my services, as it were, but more for my time. I don't see this as a gift. I don't see it as a curse or even an ability. It's simply the way I am.
Okay. So how old were you when you first recognized that you had this ability?
Probably in my early 40s.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that's simply because I wasn't the type of person that was looking for something. Had I been the type of person throughout my life to where that I was reading books on the paranormal, reading books on different kind of Eastern philosophies and those kinds of things, I would have recognized that I was an intuitive and an empath long before I actually realized it. We're all the same.
Mm-hmm. So what motivates you to do this work?
That's a hard question. I take my experiences and how I interacted with those experiences, and I can use those experiences and what I've learned and garnered from it to assist other people with their spiritual awakening. I guess that's what I get out of it, helping other people.
So what is your process of connecting with spirit? Do you meditate? Do you like some trance channels go through a process.
Right.
Do you consider yourself a trance channel, or do you consider yourself?
Again, I have performed what's called trance channeling, but I believe I'm more of what people might consider a conscious channel as opposed to a trance channel. But for me to shift from one to the other is kind of seamless. I don't have a preparation. For me personally, I don't separate the moment that I'm in right now from the moment that I'm channeling. To me, they've gotten to where there's no separation. That doesn't make it right or wrong. That's just the way I process things.
So how should a client prepare before they come to a session with you? Is there a certain kind of clients that you attract?
Typically people that are being abducted by aliens, but I believe people that are attracted to me are people that are having certain types of challenges of the paranormal with their spiritual awakening process. They really don't need to do anything to prepare to come see me, other than being willing to be open to what takes place. A lot of times people come and they have a certain agenda or a certain thing that they would like for me to channel or for me to address, and that may or may not be what their spirit guides and angels facilitate taking place. I just do the work. I just answer the phone, so to speak.
I know that from the past experience that we've had here, that you have a lot of clients who are in a state of fear because they have these experiences that they are not sure how to handle or how to deal with. So what kind of the feedback have you received from clients? Let's just say you have clients that are having things going on at night that they can't explain. They're having like marks that are being left on their body that they can't explain. What kind of results? I mean, when people come to see you, I know a lot of them are at a state of in some cases, even terror and fear. What is some of the feedback that you've received from some of those clients?
That's a very good point. I do get a lot of people. I have people that tell me that sometimes I scare people. And I don't really see it that way. Again, I do the channeling work. And sometimes a lot of people, like you say, they're at a point in their spiritual awakening process where they're being challenged. Their concept of reality is being challenged. So by that nature, what I'm shown and what I do is challenging. Now, if that's scary to some people, that's scary. But yes, like you say, there are a lot of people that come to me, they're already scared. And that's because they're experiencing a type of dimensional reality that they weren't taught. And that's challenging by its nature. So realistically, the only thing that needs to take place is a balance. So we perceive physics by our perception. And so when we begin to perceive dimensional physics, and our perceptions of reality don't even account for the fact that can be real, then there's an imbalance that can take place. And that's where the fear sets in. So I have had a lot of success by the simple fact that I'm still doing this with people understanding the balance. That's more of along the lines. I don't make the boogeyman go away. I help people to understand what the boogeyman is.
Right.
And in that, balance can occur, provided that person can accept what takes place.
I know that you see everything as energy, whether people come from the perspective of ascended masters, archangels, ETs, or even, lower vibration energies of what people are dealing with, that you see everything as a vibrational energy, and you kind of help people bring that into balance as well.
That's true. I see, and again, just because I perceive something that way doesn't mean that it's absolute, not at all. I perceive that there are positive vibrations, positive beings there's neutral type beings, and there's negative type beings. These are beings that exist in other dimensions. They're non-human, they exist in other dimensions. Within each group, there's going to be high vibrational positive beings, there's going to be high vibrational neutral beings, and believe it or not, there's going to be high vibrational negative beings. Within each of those three basic type groups, there's also lower vibrational beings. So you can have a lower vibrational being in a positive group. It's not negative, but it's not going to feel like an archangel. The worst possible case would be a low vibrational negative being. That's going to feel horrible. Understanding that dynamics is critical.
So tell me, I know that you offer many workshops. Tell us about some of the workshops and what benefits do people get from attending them?
I have a weekly workshop, multidimensional healing is what I call it. Some people, I do that weekly. That's the way I present everything. And we work on people understanding chakras, balancing chakras, channeling guides and angels and even loved ones that have passed over. I offer a series of shamanistic rites that we call the Munay Ki Rites. I've been doing that for about 3 years, and the feedback that I've gotten from people that have benefited from taking some of these things is they say that they're more open. They say that they've been able to release fears. What actually, contrary to what a lot of people may think, is all three of these groups of beings, vibrations, frequencies, teach. So when someone is actually experiencing negative beings, okay, it is unpleasant. There's no way around that. But they're teaching unless you perceive you're a victim. And then you perceive that teaching experience as a victim. All vibrations teach. That's not the first thing you think when it's taking place, but that's actually what's happening.
So what advice would you give someone who wants to pursue, let's just say, a career of doing something similar to what you're doing? It's a new person and they finally have wrapped their arms around this. What advice would you give them?
Be willing to be open. Whatever they learn from mentors, from teachers, take only that which resonates to them that they can use and throw the rest out. So if the cornucopia of the way I present things, if somebody can only use 15 or 20 or 30% of the way I present things, the rest of it just doesn't resonate to them, then don't just duplicate what I did. Take that 20 or 30% and use it. Find a different mentor or teacher or something that you're involved in and do the same thing. And then you basically evolve what you are and your connection with spirit, source, universe, whatever you want to call that, into something unique for yourself.
So I think that's all the time we have today. I want to thank you for joining me, Neil. And I look forward to some of the other workshops. I know you also teach Reiki energy healing as well. You're a Reiki Master Teacher as well.
Yes,
I wanted to get that out if anyone is interested.
Yes,
and thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
I will be seeing you shortly.
Okay.